Welcome to From Work to Worship, where we explore how people's calling becomes their calling card, how vocation fuels occupation, how to work can be to worship when we understand who we were made for. So let's get to work on understanding what we were made to do. This is the testimony of comedian, poet, musician, and aspiring human being, Nathanael Mosher, the person speaking right now, and this is From Work to Worship.
If you actively and consistently pursue whatever you can conceive to be the highest good, then you will find God, because they're the same thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
5,
and that's been my experience.
4, 3, 2. I don't wanna die young. I don't wanna die young. But if I do, I hope I'm true. And if I leave it up to you, I hope you let some people know that I've been worked hard.
If this is your first time joining us at PPDK Productions, we want to thank you for listening and invite you to go ahead and subscribe to our Substack at ppdkproductions.com. That's ppdkproductions.com, and receive 1 free week of life-giving stories, weekly content recaps, and monthly content maps. There is nothing more tragic than a man lacking purpose. That's why we're starting with our stories, because that's what we know. Living to tell the tale is our purpose. We're doing it first, so you can too. Go to ppdkproductions.com and subscribe. If you like what we have to say but don't like how we look, then please consider making a monthly contribution so we can make our stories look beautiful.
Edinburgh, you made it. Talk
Yeah.
about the lead up to that.
So I always knew I wanted to do an autobiographical one-man show at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival ever since I saw Dimitri Martin's show, If I. And that was the show that really, I wasn't the class clown, I was the whiz kid. And I like jokes, and so was he. And he thought he was going to be a lawyer, and he went to Yale Law, NYU Law and Yale for undergrad, and he had a full scholarship and everything, and he hated it. And he became the class clown in law school, and he was nerdy. And so I thought, okay, if he can be funny, then I can be funny. This girl, Heather, she said, oh, you do stand-up comedy? You're so awkward. Dimitri Martin is awkward. He's funny. I like him. Okay, I guess that makes sense. It's like, all right, you just compared me to my idol and crapped on me at the same time. So the path there, I thought I was going to do it, right before the pandemic, and then things shut down. I had heard about the Orlando Fringe Festival as a national festival to do, and the Canada Fringe, there's a lot of Canadian festivals that are really good, and you can actually make money, and it's a smaller pond. And so I did the Orlando Fringe Festival. I did it online during the pandemic, and then I got to do it at 66 2/3% capacity, and did my show there, and it started to sell out, and it did really well. And it was about my mental breakdown, and about why comedy, why I became a writer, what my relationship with it is. It had 3 songs in it on the piano, and the songs functioned as act breaks, but the stand-up and the storytelling was the backstory to the songs, and then there's a poem at the end. And I had seen this band called Us the Duo with my sister, and they got famous on Vine doing these 6-second covers, and they revealed their face on Good Morning America and announced their first nationwide tour, and they were on stage at that tour at the Fonda Theater, and I'm watching them, and they would tell the story of how they met. They're a couple, and they make music together. I think they're married, and they would tell the story of how they met through their music, and it ended on stage in that moment while they were on stage telling the story to us. I thought, that's so cool. I want to do a show where it ends in the current moment. Testimony, that's what that is. And good one, God. Anyways, so I knew that if that were to be the case, then the show being done at Edinburgh would need to be a show about getting to Edinburgh, and it would need to end on stage in Edinburgh. What a ridiculous thing to ask for in retrospect, because something has to happen at Edinburgh to talk about so that the ending is there.
Inclusive.
And that's what happened. I did the show about my mental breakdown. It became this show, I'm better now. Got standing ovation. Good show. And then I go to London and I'm doing the show, and Jack Knight shoots himself. And that was Jack Knight, Brandon Wardell, maybe me. There's other people too, but this is LA. Ali Makovsky came in. She's famous. She's been on Joe Rogan, all this stuff, but whatever. There are these people you're like, okay, well, Brandon Wardell didn't really start in LA. Okay, okay, Jack Knight, me. I remember this one comedian, Tony Bartoloni, said, we were at this open mic, and God, I don't want to shout out, whatever, it doesn't matter. The truth will set us free. He said, I know everybody talks about Jack all the time. Between me and you, I have my money on you in the long run. I was like, why did you say that? It was like completely unprompted. I don't know why he shared that with me. And after I went through everything I went through, I remember seeing Jack on stage at the Improv, and he had a rough set. He was like writing on a TV show and starting to get, I know he was like working really hard. You know, when you're writing on a TV show, there's long days, and so you're still getting on stage, and he's at the Comedy Store, and you're getting like midnight spots. So you're working a 12-hour day, you're getting a midnight spot. You're buzzing after you get off stage, so you drink to crash down, and then that became alcoholic, and and so I'm just gonna adjust a little bit to get. But I saw him on stage, and I remember thinking, I'm funnier than this guy now. Because I saw that I had a depth of experience that was deeply resonant that he didn't have. Maybe he did have it, but he wasn't talking about it. I could tell he was trying to lean into who he was becoming, but not in front of the right people. And they weren't receiving it well. And it was this like crowd of white people, like, but white, like nerdy, liberal, like, and it's like across in the same improv was D-Ray's Monday, like urban black comedy. And Jack's like talking like that, but right over there is where he should be talking like that. He's trying to talk this way to, white liberals, or they're like, you're funny, we don't understand. I'm like, just go over there. It's funny to me. And then there's this other comedian who like grew up around white people talking not like that, just talking plain, no ebonics, like no twang, whatever we want to call it, and they love it. He's just being authentic. I was like, this isn't him. Like it's a persona. And so I knew, I was like, what I'm doing now is better. And I told that to a friend, and he's like, doesn't it feel good? No, it feels horrible. This is a horrible feeling. Because then I knew, like, he's not living up to his potential. That's not a good feeling to see. Especially after going through, not even knowing that he was struggling. And so he shoots himself, in that, I got my money on you in the long run. I just thought, God, this is not how I wanted that to come true. But I hate that I even wanted it to come true. Because that kid who bullied me, I projected that image onto Jack. Jack was never mean to me. I mean, okay, people are gonna say there's rumors and things he did this. I don't know. Like, he might have done some horrible things, or it might have been in the past, and by the end he was, you know, take that out of it. He didn't mistreat me. Can't speak for other people. I know some people he mistreated, you know. But you could tell. He's like, why are you all closed off from me? It's like, because you remind me of the guy who bullied me. The guy who bullied me is a cocaine addict too. I want to find him. You know what I mean? I don't want him to kill himself. My life's awesome. So, yeah, he shot himself. Everybody's worried. I did my show. Not a lot of people came out, except the person I was staying with and some random people from this venue. It was like 8 people, and this reviewer from Chortle, this comedy outlet for Edinburgh, came out to review the show before Edinburgh. And I saw Jack out there in the crowd. Like, I performed for him. And then I kept doing the show and went to Edinburgh, and multiple shows, like, showing up, just nobody's there, and it's so expensive. It's so expensive, and it's all my mom's money that she saved up for me to go, because I had extra money because I stayed at home and went to UCLA. I knew I was gonna not use this money to do something lucrative, so I'm like, I'm not gonna go in debt. Never gone into debt ever. Only bank I owe money to is the bank of Lloyda Mosher, and she does not ask for interest. All she asks is that I take care of her. And now I've assumed my role in the family as family therapist, preacher, and motivational speaker. Listen, let me give you some words, and let's get out there and do it. That's what I am. And I didn't like playing that role, but all of those things people tell me I should do. They say, have you thought of being a therapist? Have you thought about being a preacher? Have you thought about being a teacher? Have you this is it. I can teach English from this right here. Let's talk about books. I can do everything I need to do right here in the comfort of my own home. I don't need to go anywhere. And so
you did a couple shows. A lot of people didn't show up. You performed for the guy who eventually offed himself. Sorry to put it crudely, but yeah. Where did that bring you interpersonally, and how did that affect your actions moving forward from there?
I just felt a tremendous amount of guilt. Like, I felt like I was wasting everything my mom put forth for me. Like, I gave it all to get here, and it wasn't panning out. And I had no one to blame but myself. My mom knew the deal with the venue wasn't a great one. I just said, you don't believe in me. She's like, just not a good deal. Now I listen to my mom about money, you know. I at least try, and then I can bring to her and go, hey, I tried it your way, here are some changes. And she go, okay. And yeah, and I would carry my keyboard out there and go up this hill, and I was way too far from the venue, and this was so tiring. And I'll get there and they're like, no show. There's a guy before me, Chris Milner, and we would watch each other's shows. Like, we would tag team. He would watch mine. We'd be each other's audience sometimes, and we did some street performing. And he's just a brilliant folk singer, and just got a regular job so he could retire and have his family and now do it, you know. And his shows sold out other places just like mine, so we knew our show's good, but it wasn't great. My show was good, it wasn't great. and I got depressed. My ex Megan came out, and I wanted to quit the show. She came, saw the show. She was like, your show's, if I had to give you one piece of feedback, it's your show needs to be happier. And I'm like, what? It's about me overcoming depression. You saw it in Orlando. I got a standing O. Like, is it? She's like, you're just off. And I was like, Megan, you need to give me more feedback. And she's like, no, I don't want to hurt you. Like, I was like, you know me better than anybody else right now. You know the show better than anybody. You need to give me the feedback. And she said, well, one of the things that the couple that we were staying with out in Orlando, who one of them helped produce and direct the show, down the line, it didn't work out. And said, you never talk about why you got on medication in the first place. I said, that's family business. I can't talk about that. She said, it just leaves holes in the story. So I called my sister and said, can I talk about this? She said, yeah. And so I did, and I wrote it into the show, and the whole show unlocked. And I wrote the original intention of the show, which was to tell the story of getting to Edinburgh. And I stopped. One of the things that the reviewer said, the show that I did in front of Jack Knight and him, he wasn't actually there, but Jack in spirit, he said the jokes felt contrived, like he was forcing them, but as a one-man show about trauma, it was seriously compelling. It's not a comedy. It's not a stand-up comedy. It's in the comedy section. We review comedy. This is something else. It's good, but it's not. So it's a 3-star comedy. And to me, that's like a D. That's not. 3 stars means a B. 4 stars A, 5 stars A+. That's what they told me. They said 3 stars is good. Got a lot of 4-star, And so, what's it called? So I rewrote the show, and at the end I wrote in the Jack Knight thing, and that's where the birth of this idea, which is the paraprostokian, came in full effect. Because I remember that word when I was 17 years old, being obsessed with one-liners, searching one-liner comedians, one-liner this, one-liner that, blah 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 blah, and I saw on Wikipedia paraprostokian, and it's an SAT word. And one of the people, when they came to talk about college, they said that, does anybody know this? I was the only person that knew it. Some SAT word. It means against expectation. It's the rhetorical device of a one-liner. And I realized that comedy, music, poetry, all these things have a commonality. And in the spirit of if I, with the math equation, because he has a math equation at the end, like if you combine all the ifs over the I, it equals your life. And he's a nerd. And so all of a sudden I had this math equation. And it was pain, patience, people leads to purpose. It started with pain, enduring pain. It started with pain leads to purpose, leads to perspective, and that can be summed up in a paraprostokian. Let me give you some examples. I'm telling you what a joke is, and then I'm laying out the sequence of my life, because each joke, something unexpected happens and it furthers the story. So now I'm giving you one-liners and the story's advancing. And then I go at the end of a joke, a comedian will put a tag, a piece of a line that moves you further into the unexpected territory you've now moved into. For example, we moved in together. So now all of a sudden I just went to San Francisco. Pain, pain to purpose. But then later in the show, purpose, perspective, paraprostokian. Later in the show, I reveal, well, you can't get through the pain without patience. And I didn't have that. I gained patience. Then at the very end, I recapitulate and I tell you that I went to Edinburgh and this is what happened, and it was a catastrophic failure. And Jack Knight shot himself. And what my sister, she was suicidal, and a security guard found her and asked her what's wrong, despite our best efforts to predict where she would be so that she could be safe. And so, say, pain, patiently enduring the pain with the help of, leads to purpose and perspective, summed up in a pair, but none of that is possible without people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and then the show at the joke at the beginning, which is the joke, don't go, or lately I've been playing a lot of Marco Polo alone because I'm just trying to find myself. Thank you. That joke is called Marco Solo. That was the first one-liner that I received. I didn't write it. It occurs to you that I received, that felt authentic and true and personal, and nobody else can tell this joke but me. It's stylistically me. It's unique. And so at the end, I say, don't go around playing Marco Polo alone because you're going to get hurt. And that one I'm serious about, which is a callback to the beginning where I say, just kidding. And so there's all these layers. And so the jokes get revealed. I explain to you a joke, and by the end, I finish the joke. And I took that to Vancouver and rewrote it. I did it in in Edinburgh. I quit the show, rewrote it, and traveled around Scotland a little bit, got better. And because I knew there's no time to rewrite the show unless I quit. It doesn't matter. Nobody's showing up. Megan was like, no, you got to do it. I was like, I have to quit this show. It's not true anymore. I cannot be up there and tell about overcoming depression. I'm depressed. It's untrue. The show ceased to work. It must change. So I had to quit the show and rewrite it. And so I had 3 shows left, and I went and did it. And every single one of my technicians cried. Like, every time. And his name's Chris. And he does the Fringe every year as a technician for this venue. And he's sobbing. He comes up to me. He's like, this is why I do live theater. This is why I come to Edinburgh every year, to see shows like this, to see people like you grow into this. And he's crying. He's like, I would watch this on Netflix. And he hugs me and he's crying. And he's like, I got to the National Theater at age 26. It was the crowning pinnacle of everything. And I was miserable. So I do avant-garde stuff like this. I'm hemorrhaging money right now. It's fine. So I took that show to Vancouver. And I didn't care about promoting it at all. I just cared about making it better and telling the truth. And hang out with my family. My grandma was there, my cousins, my sister came with. And going to other people's shows, because that's the number one reason you do these festivals, is to see other people's work. Because you're never going to see this many different things together. And you're not going to be inspired in this way anywhere else. So I went to other people's shows and I had a great time, and didn't do any promotion except like put a few posters up and did it late. And, not a ton of people came out, but by the end, like, I had a 30-person thing, and there was awards that I applied to, and one of them was the Artistic Risk Award, which was judged by a jury of 5, including the executive director of the festival. And every single one of them came to a different version of the show, and they saw it get better. And then the last one was the executive director, and he was crying. And he loved it. And so I won that award, and it recouped I broke even. And on stage, I'm like, all of this money is going to my mom because I owe her a lot. And everyone's like, oh, I owe her money. And it's the footage of that speech is on the testimony video at the end. And so that's, the show it was pretty much done. There's some slight tweaks here and there, and I gotta get it made. We need money, but I don't think it's money, it's relationships. So we don't need money, but we need to build, we need to attract people, because money is relationship is value, right? And so a lady gave me $2,000 to keep doing the show out in Orlando, because we had booked the Edmonton Fringe Festival and we needed money for that, and then got COVID, had to cancel everything, the relationship fell through. But I never met her. But she told my friend Chad, who was producing it, she said the show helped me understand my son. So that's what it is a door into a conversation, into a deeper relationship. And that's what this is about. It's not about you enjoying your fruits. It's about giving it away. And those conversations, that's always what it's been. That's always my favorite thing, is when somebody comes up and says, "You're funny." That's not as meaningful as, "You're funny, and let me share with you how I relate to your story." That is the best part of this. And I had a dream that I won't explain the specifics of, but the interpretation of it that I received is that comedy for me is about friendship. And if I use it in any other way, it cannot give me that. It's purely a tool to make friends. It's the way that is my small talk. Make you laugh. First date. Whatever this is. Someone said every new audience, it's like a first date. Now, with comedians, they go from comedy club to comedy club, make me laugh, funny man, strangers, to refine the jokes to work in front of their fans. I'm going to go straight to my fans. That's it. I don't need to go in front of strangers. This is strangers. Twitch is strangers. The internet is strangers. See us here, but I'm talking to you. You're my audience right now. Other people vicariously watch it, but we don't need to do any of this. It's a bad business model. Sorry. What do you make money off? Drinks? Food? Your food sucks. It's overpriced. Just make it the real thing and sell that. I'm not saying comedy clubs, they change. You know what I mean? I just mean, like, that's not my business. Is to go to comedy clubs. I'm not there to make strangers laugh. I'm there to make friends and then invite you into my own home. And invite you to the show, because you don't get prayed for after a comedy club. You know, like, that's not. How many comedians you know up there and they're miserable off stage? You go up to them, great job. They drink themselves to death. I don't want that. I need a space so that we can create something real afterwards. You know what I mean? And if that means a smaller, more intimate, like, fine. But yeah, there's got to be something. We got to let's skip the small talk. So yeah, make you laugh, but we're getting straight into it. You know, once you like me enough, okay, bam, I'll make you laugh. Second date is God real, like, bam, let's get into it. So that's just how I go. Like, and that's just, I don't know anything is good until it makes me cry. And I cried while recording this. I wrote my testimony. My friend said, "Yo, bro, this is the toughest joint you ever made." I know, because it moved me to tears. My one-man show, when I hit the end, don't go around playing Marco Polo alone. You're gonna get hurt. Bam, weeping. Everything released. Heart purified. Grace received. Oh God, you are real. You love me, and you did give me everything I asked for, and it wasn't enough because you are so much better. I get it. Everything you just gave me, take it back.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. So we've reached a pinnacle in your story. there's two relationships that I'm tracking. Obviously, those two are significant. One was your relationship with Megan, your ex.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about that, but then the other one is your relationship with God, which it sounds like you came to another level with God, having been through the Edinburgh, the Fringe Festival. That's in Edmonton? That's in Canada.
Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Right.
Yeah.
Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Orlando, Edinburgh, Vancouver. We're supposed to do Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing New York in April and Victoria and Winnipeg.
Wow. And so you're hitting some big name shows, some big name festivals. And it sounds to me like I want to talk about your relationships with those two people. And because I can tell that your show is so much of your heart and so much, you put so much thought into it, and that has been your drive all throughout these years where you're doing all these things. But bring the story back to those relationships and how those relationships developed over time.
I was in this room talking with, we had an international student named Amir sitting here, and Kylie, and Amir's like 18, asking, how do you talk to somebody if you like them? I'm like, you just tell them. You're not 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't ask the best friend to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Megan comes up to pick up Kylie, because Kylie was living at home and we were hanging out during the pandemic, like late at night when we couldn't do anything. She's on her Segway twirling around. We're like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents were abusive, and she's like 26, and she was like, yeah, if I don't get home by a certain time, like, they'll beat me and they'll lock me out of the house. I was like, wait, you don't have keys? She's like, huh, I should probably get keys. Something told me, just don't go back. I have an upstairs room right now. Just stay with me real quick. Figure it out, but don't go back.
Mm-hmm.
And she I mean, that's got to be the Holy Spirit. Because I didn't
said
hear,
that to Kylie?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear the Holy Spirit like that, but yeah, don't go back. And she's like, no, it's okay, I'm gonna go. And she starts walking, and she stopped, and she turned around, and she like, I'm coming with you. She came here, she stayed here, and her parents flipped out and were sending all sorts of nasty threats and this and this, but yeah, she moved out and she started couch surfing, and the first person that she stayed with for a week was Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Went to high school together, all of us. And because of that, Megan came to pick her up. And I had talked with Megan here and there throughout my life, but not really. And she showed up at the doorstep after I said, you just tell someone if you like them. And I looked at Megan, I was like, oh, I have to ask this person out.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her like 2 days later, and because Kylie invited me, said, hey, if you want to, we're having lunch, and she lives like across the street, Megan, like I could walk there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm eating lunch with them, and they're talking about going camping, and they're like, oh, you could come if you want. So I'm going camping with her brother, who I knew her brother from other things. And her brother was actually very depressed and came to a house show that I was doing one time.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of that, he said it really helped him out. And so at that summer, or at the camping thing, I'm like, oh, I have to ask her out by the end of this. When do I do it? And like, oh, okay, hey, thank you so much for taking care of Kylie. Like, let me take you out to dinner. And she's like, oh, Patrick too. I was like, all all right, let me try again later. And I'm like, hey, I find an entrance in where she's like alone in the tent, and I'm like, hey, because we're about to leave tomorrow, so I'm like, this is my last chance. Well, I guess I could have asked her like as we left. I don't know what I'm thinking. So I'm like, I want to take you out to dinner, like not just you, like. And she's like, no, I don't know about that, you know. And then I'm like, okay, oh, I have to stay in this tent with her. Like tonight, I'm sleeping next to her. I just asked her, oh shoot, let's clear the air, make it less awkward, this. I'm like, okay. So we keep talking, and then I'm like, she's like, it's okay, I say no to like everybody. And I was like, interesting. Wait, why? And she's like, I'm just like, I'm all over the place, like commitment is like not something I can really do right now. And you know, I'm like, I'm not asking you for commitment, I'm just asking you to go on a date with me. She's like, no. We keep talking. 30 minutes go. I'm like, so we just talked for 30 minutes. It went well. Let me buy you coffee over that. She's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, that wouldn't be what I would do. Like, I'd probably have shared common interests. Like, you were both into music. Like, I would do something like that. I was like, okay, let's do that. And then I got her number, and then I'm talking with another friend, Jeremy, I'm trying to make music with him at this time, telling him about it. He's like, oh man. Oh, and then right as I'm about to, you know, like we're about to schedule that, her brother comes back, and he's like, she likes you. You just got sidelined. And then I get a text from her like, hey, when are we doing our thing? So our first date was she plays the flute and I play the piano, and so she brought some sheet music and we played that and kept hanging out. And then she never wanted to commit to the relationship, and I started to get like, oh, I want to get married to you one day, but not right now. But yeah, and it just got to the point where it's like, I can't see us ever living together or getting married. And I was like, well, now you said it, because you never really said it, so that's it. And that was in February. And
she's the one who said that to you.
And then I said, well, yeah, then it's over. And yeah, but yeah, I miss her still. You brought up God. I love every single ex more than when I was with them, because every time I go through that heartbreak and I turn back to God, I'm purified, I receive grace, and my capacity to understand the love of God gets greater than I could even imagine. And so my capacity for love itself gets bigger, and I still love them. I'm not with them, but I love them more deeply and understand love more deeply than I did when I was with them. And the only way to get there was through going through the heartbreak and turning back to God and realizing that I cannot love them with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. I can only love God with that, so that I can love my neighbor as myself. If I do that, then I understand how to love them. And then I go, wow, each time I understand how much I love this person, God, you're telling me that this is such a small fraction of how much you love me? I didn't even know I could love anybody this much as I love them. Because the last one, I thought I really loved them. I love this one even more. And God says, well, welcome to heaven. Because it's greater than you can ever imagine. It's okay. Now you know. Now you really know what it looks like to love them. Because when I said I love you to Megan, I said I understand this to mean I want you to get close to God, so I can say it and not expect it back, because that is my intention for you, is to get closer to God. That's what I want for you, because God is love. Therefore, I love you. It's an action. It's a verb. I did want her to say it back.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not mean that to her. But I still love her.
Yeah.
And I love her even more. And I love Sereni even more. And I love Julia even more. And I love Risha even more. And I love Ashley even more. And I love all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Because one day, if they truly see the Lord, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I want it for them. And I know that then I'll get married. Be like, I love this person. Mm-hmm. Then I'll have a kid. I love this person even more.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. I love you, babe, but sorry, this dude or this chick, they are awesome. Mm-hmm. And that's what marriage, it's to learn how Christ loved the church. And then a child is to learn how the Father loves the Son. Mm-hmm. You get to learn how Christ loves you, and now you get to learn how God loves Christ. Mm-hmm. And then you get to
meet God.
And that is like, that's it. Mm-hmm. And so it's just learning to love despite the limitations of being painfully human. Mm-hmm. And the pain is proportional to the meaning that we get on the other side. Pain is the input and meaning is the outcome. Mm-hmm. And so the pain of childbirth is proportional to the love and the meaning that you get. You just created something. Mm-hmm. So the pain of transcending and creating this, framing this story and putting all this meaning into something that can exist out there in the world with other people, like, of course it's going to move me to tears. Mm-hmm. It's unpacking all this pain into one point, and it's an explosive transcendent power. It's nuclear fusion, not fission. Mm-hmm. Selling your soul to the devil, Mm-hmm. No, I don't know, that's not necessarily fission, but anyways, fusion is a better energy source than fission. Mm-hmm. It's more contained. And so that's what creating all this energy and putting it and packaging it, bam, and you have that. And for me, I'm realizing more and more that that's a book. What would I give away for free? Mm-hmm. And never expect anything in return? Now, do I want to make money? Do I want to make a career? Yeah, because I want to provide for my family. But I mean, man, a book, take it. Mm-hmm. I'll print another one, take it. I'll work every day of my life, take it. Mm-hmm. I'll be a janitor, take it. Mm-hmm. I'll be a janitor every day, clock in every day out so I can fund these books, take it.
Mm-hmm. Or a substitute teacher.
Yeah. I am a storyteller. I'm a writer. And I'm going to be the greatest one to ever live. Mm-hmm. And that's not saying that other people aren't going to be better. I told this to you. I got to say that. Mm-hmm. Because if you say, you're not the greatest storyteller to ever live, well, show me a better one. This guy. Bring him to me. Make him my friend. Yeah. We need to talk about story. Oh, that was a tactical move? Yeah. I'm the greatest basketball player. No, you're not. Cool. Play me. Oh, sweet. You want to be on my team? You have to act that way. Like, on the national level, in the NBA, they compete with each other. On the global level, they're teammates. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for the kingdom, let's play the game. Let's mm-hmm. push each other. Let's sharpen each other, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but mm-hmm. against power. Like, I'm not gonna kill you.
Right.
Let's battle our ideas out and push each other, because we were talking about, why do you need to be convicted in the church? Mm-hmm. Why is that so important? Because to convict means to prove. You prove someone's guilt. You convict them. If you've had an encounter with Jesus, you know it to be true. You don't need to be proved. But if you haven't, prove it. I'm the greatest storyteller to ever live. Prove it. Okay. Maybe I won't prove it, but it's a worthy pursuit. Well, how do I prove it? I got to live a good story. And a good story is a story of maximal sacrifice. Maximal voluntary assumption of pain. For maximal possible meaning. And that is the Christ story. It is the story. There is one story. Life, death, rebirth. Every story. 3 acts. Life, death, rebirth. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. Life, death, rebirth.
Well,
I think every great life ends in tragedy, because every death is a tragedy. That's only act 2. Our act 3 is in heaven.
you could also say that our act 3 is the impact of our lives on the people who live on.
Yeah. Our story evolves and changes, and yeah, it's I don't know. It's awesome. Like I don't know how else to. It's been about a year. You know, people talk about like enlightenment. Enlightenment is the start. You must be enlightened so that you can see with the eyes of the heart.
Let's talk about that. Enlightenment. How did you get from some of the lowest lows that you talked about during this time, where I think it was a time where you were trying to, you talked about your friend Jack Knight offed himself, and some of those lows of that point to where you are today. Because I know enlightenment is revival is realizing that God is right there. He's as close to you as anyone can ever be. That's revival. Enlightenment is when you have a perspective, but then you realize that yours is not the highest, and you can adopt God's perspective of your situation, or of even your whole life, or of yourself. You know, that's enlightenment. Talk to me about your process of enlightenment that brought you to where you are today, sitting in this chair.
Well, you know, I did the meditation, trying to accumulate stillness, I would listen to Sadhguru. I took his inner engineering course, and kept bringing up how the enlightened masters the yoga positions were meant to be held one at a time in 2.5 hours at least. And the Buddha was still, and Jesus fasted for 40 days and in the desert. You know, I'd be like, I do 40 days of fasting in the desert. Please, you know, Jesus is not another Buddha. He is the greatest to ever live. He is life itself. He's not another one. All these new age people, it's just Jesus went to India. He's just like Buddha. Okay, pray to him. Jesus is just like pray to him. Nah, he said pray to him. Demon out. Oh out.
Yeah.
He's not another of these. The Buddha got enlightened. That is your inheritance, and that's your start. You accept Christ, that's it. You get that. You get the Holy Spirit, now you're enlightened. Now go into the world and be a light. Don't go into some cave in some monastery. Look, yeah, there are people that do that. They're, you know, the desert. They were living out their penance for other reasons, but like, it's a different thing. You go live in an ashram. It's like, no, we go into the world, and we do not conform to it. That is. We start with enlightenment, and then we go out. So, But I did those things because they do get you. Like, Satan is called the prince of the power of air. Because there are levels. You do psychedelics, there are levels. You can get to a certain place and you go, wow, I'm enlightened. I'm in a higher consciousness. I'm wiser. So was Solomon. You get here, you can get stuck there. The power of the air. That's not where you're supposed to go. Heaven. You need to go all the way up. You can stop here. Okay, sweet. Now, surround him, you know? And so those things can work, but God had his hand over all of this. He's like, I'm not going to let him, you know, because he stopped me the second, right? Like, you go, oh, shoot, this is idol consecration. Oh, okay. Now I understand why people warned me about this. I'm going, you know? So, but I did it. I stayed still for like 2.5 hours, and I reached the vision dream state. There's this landscape that's been being mapped out. I don't know what it is, but it's a place and a time and a story, and it's been revealing itself for the past 6 years. And one of those places is the Mayon volcano in Bicol, Philippines. I was in the dream, and this volcano that I would see in this landscape, and it's like, I don't know, this is gonna get me canceled by Christians maybe, because I don't know what this means, you know? Like, I don't know if I believe in like past lives, or maybe it's more that the Lord can show you like something that happened in the past, you know, to communicate something. I don't know, or it's a dream, I don't know. But all I can say is that it was, look up, this is in the 1600s. This volcano exploded, destroyed a village. It's in the Philippines. And so I looked it up, and I found like volcanoes that have destroyed things in the 1600s. And it was this, and I looked up a picture. I'm like, that's the volcano in my dreams. And it's this whole story. I don't want to get it too far into it, but so I'm going there, and just more like the prophetic things that have been happening. But it all started with, you know, me trying to get to those places of stillness, trying to be able to just sit with like deep pain, whether it's going back through a childhood memory, or just being able to sit there and not move, no matter how painful it is. And through that process, cultivated the resilience and patience to be able to regulate my nervous system without medication. So I was able to get off that. It was a reckoning, and I was at that same threshold level of pain, like I want to end it all, but I knew I wasn't going to do that because I missed Jack and I didn't really know him. So I'm like, if I miss this guy this much and I'm not even his family, I don't really know him, like what is my life worth? You know, people love me. And that's not, that can be, some people say I need a selfish reason to live. This is a selfish reason. You're very loved. You don't even fathom how loved you are. So do it for yourself. You're dope. You are awesome beyond recognition. You just can't see it. Get enlightened. You'll see. You know, lights, camera, action. Your life is a movie, and it's awesome. Every single one. Enemy wants to mess with the lighting and stuff and make it look like trash. It's great. It's awesome. But you gotta shine the light on it properly, or else, yeah, it can feel and look like garbage. and shine the light on certain areas of your life too, so you can see it from the true transcendent meaning that it has. It is a beautiful story. Every single person's story. And I don't care if that, not everybody is great. I'm the greatest story to ever, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody can be a storyteller. Not everybody need to be a movie maker. Not everybody can be whatever. Everybody's life is beautiful. That's what I'm saying. And so I was there, and I'm like, I don't want to die, but I also feel unable to do anything else. How do I move forward? When I would get to that state, because the studio place I was staying was flooding, and I was like so incapacitated, just feeling horrible, no more medication, no job, I don't know what to do, relationships about to end, all this stuff. And my mom would show up, and she needs me to tell her what to do to help clean up. And I say, Mom, you need to be the executive. Tell me what to do. I'm going to cry otherwise. And so she's like, okay, do this, and we clean it up. And she's great. So I was like, okay, my mom can do that for me. Okay, God, tell me what to do. And I never heard the voice of the Lord. And sir, give me 10 days. Do everything I say. Trust me. So I did everything, and my life just started to improve. Jobs started, things started to move forward. This I'm like, this is an awesome way to live life. And then I'm like, okay, I said, you can say, don't say you should do this, say I command you to do it. Like, I was like, you need to tell me, like, order me, like, do this now. So yeah, started doing that and started having a dialogue. And then I go, how do I know it's you? And I had started reading the Bible by this point. And I was like, how do I know it's you speaking? From now on, I will address you, my son. Truly, I tell you this. So now you can decipher what's me and what's everything else. What else is noise? If it doesn't, my son, truly, I tell you, that's me. Eventually, just my son, But I knew truly I tell you because I'd read it. That's what Jesus speaks. Truly I tell you, And I'd write these stuff down. I'm like, this is, and I would say these things over people, and I wouldn't say, this is what God told me. And they go, what? That's so wise. That's the wisest thing. But I never said that God told me, because then it like implies God said that, and they're like, oh, no. But if I just say I said that, they're like, wow, you're so brilliant. I'm like, I didn't say that. And then my sister would be like, you did that Holy Spirit thing again, didn't you? So that's when that thing started to get better. But then it was a relationship where it's like, oh, I'm about to reach for pornography. I command you to stop. Okay. This is great. My life's getting better. 3 months. Oh shoot! I command you to stop. I'm doing it. Please, you don't have to do this. You're better than this. Oh no, oh my God, I ruined everything. I heard the voice of the Lord. This is the best relationship I've ever had. I have a best friend. Life's awesome, meaningful. Oh, I ruined it. He's like, I'm still right here. Are you done freaking out? I love you. I'm not leaving. You don't have to do that again. It's okay. And yeah. And then, just slowly learning, like, what does that look like? And so now it's like, follow. Like, follow him for me. Don't even think, just worship, follow. Oh, what should I do next? Just follow. You know what I mean? So it's like, Jesus, where are you? Jesus, oh, okay. I am the light of life. Wherever life goes, I go. That's what I heard. I am the light of life. Wherever life goes, I go. Wherever two or more are gathered in my name, wherever they agree in my name, there I am in their midst. Competence means where there is highest agreement. There is a place in every situation, in every room, in every group of people where there is highest agreement. And that's where Jesus is. In searching for that, it's a moving target. He goes before you. He's already there before you got there. Then you get there and things change. The circumstances change. He already went there for you. And then and so it's like he's already scoped out the place for you. And you're like, oh, because he's light. He's everywhere all at once. Like, there's no time. He's like, he's all that. You can't think in a materialistic worldview to understand it. It's corroborated by quantum physics. So, and string theory doesn't work anymore because it can't explain things at a certain subatomic level, and it needs more energy. We don't have the energy capacity to test at those levels. So, and somebody please correct me, because if you correct me, then somebody's watching this.
That was a bar. How did we get here? Like, we started talking, and then just I don't know what it was that led you to talk to me that first day when we didn't even go to church. We just stood outside the church talking, and then we started talking on a regular basis, and then we started scheming, and then we had a business plan all of a sudden. From your perspective, how did we get here to make this?
A mutual shared decision to redeem our gifts and pursue the call that the Lord has on our heart, and to know that the only way we can do that is through accountability.
Is that place of enlightenment, is that where you were when we had our first conversation?
I had just gotten back from Vancouver-ish, and that was my first big show back. And so I was sort of on that beginning journey of starting to have a personal relationship and conversation with Christ.
Yeah. Because I had come back from being a trucker, knowing that the Lord wanted me to go all in with my musical gifts and talents, figure out a way to serve Him and make that my career. And we were just talking for the sake of accountability, because we both wanted to do that in one way or another. But it's this transition from making this, whatever you want to call this, PPDK Productions, the transition from just talking about what we're doing in order to further this artistry thing, this worship, this service, over to, okay, we're making a business. It was seamless. It was so seamless. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah. It's like knowing that I was going to meet with you gave me the incentive to sit down and make a map. And then I pitched to you the map, and you were like, yeah, let's go. And the map doesn't, it's going to have its changes, but it's like a direction, it's like, I have a plan, let's go here. And I don't know, I'm still always going to be, maybe the flesh is going to be a little skeptical all the time, but like I heard Hormozy say, he's like, do deals with your friends as if they're your enemies so that you remain friends. But
make that make sense.
Make
that make sense.
It's basically like, would you cut this deal with someone you hate? If you cut it with someone you'd hate, then it's a good deal. So he's like, I with my friends, like, that's how we, like, I he's like, I work with my wife. So it goes well, and a lot of people are like, you can't do that. But he's like, so those are certain phrases that help, because I have been burned a lot in relationships and in business now, which is good, because now I know what's a bad deal. I know, like, okay, acquisition.com, they take 40%. Why? Because it's super hands-on. Okay, well, if you take 40%, that means you're like all in on everything I do. Well, if I look at what you're doing and you're not doing that, then that's not a good deal. I took a 40% deal with that venue at Edinburgh. They weren't doing nothing. people couldn't even find it. So horrible deal. Now, yeah, so I mean, you know, but in retrospect, what I learned is that all of my ideas that were of the Lord were great ideas. I partnered with the wrong people, and I didn't ever bring it by God. I asked other people what they thought. Now, my mom has a great intuition. She was usually right. She's like, I told you they were bad news. So she's a good one. If I went to her, I'd have probably a 90% hit rate, or 80 even, but she still get it wrong. She's not God. So she can help at a certain level, but yeah, I gotta run this by the Lord. And it would be like, literally, I'm praying about it, and then you come to me with something the Lord revealed to you, and it's exactly what, it's just like, okay, cool. Yeah.
That's how it's been. Yeah.
So it's like that. Like, you come to me and you're like, hey, I had this dream, and I don't know if this, I feel like the name is not quite you know what I mean? And then I'm like, I don't know, and then it's better. You know?
Yeah.
So
I think we can end on this. God did this. Whatever you think about whatever this is, God did this, got us to this point where we're at now. God is gonna keep doing this with us because he's with us, he's in us. Like, we're doing this because of him, and he's doing this because he's given both of us a vision for something we couldn't conceive of, and then he's gonna top that because that's just his nature. Like, what we can conceive of is always incomplete in comparison to what he's willing to do on our behalf. So stick around for the show, because this is God. And what that means is, as much as it's gonna do for us, it's gonna do it for you too. Stick around, hang with us, because nothing we've done has been routed on our own, well, whatever we think is right in our own eyes. We are literally being led by the Lord. So stick around. Come taste and see what the Lord is good. What's it say? Come all ye who are thirsty.
Isaiah 55. Well, my favorite is 12. Well, my word that goes out from my mouth, it will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Instead of the thorn bush will grow the juniper, and instead of briars the myrtle will grow. This will be for the Lord's renown, for an everlasting sign that will endure forever. And in heaven, all creation sings. It's endless worship. I was listening to a podcast or a sermon, I can't remember. They're saying, like, you know, all the angels are like going, holy, 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 holy. Someone like had a death experience, you know, they die and go to heaven and come back. And I go, why do you guys keep saying holy, holy, holy? It's all you ever say? Like, what's... And they're like, every time we go around, we see a new aspect of God, and we're like, holy, 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 holy. And they go around and they go again, they go, holy, holy. is like holy s, you know what I mean? Holy, 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 what? And my life's done. My life is over. I lived my life. God gave me everything I asked for. So now it's time to start living for him. And yeah, so, but I still have the flesh. I still have moments where it's like, I want this, and it's like, oh, away from me, you know? So there's still that. But yeah, this is gonna be my Edinburgh. Let me end with this. You asked about Edinburgh. My Edinburgh experience showed me what is possible, because I knew that was a call from the Lord. It was the one idea. When you say remove all that is not from you, that was the one idea, the one transcendent highest purpose goal to get there. And despite all of my best efforts to not do it the way the Lord wanted, and to go this way and that way and this way. He put things in my way so that, you know, I didn't get, he gave me guardrails, you know, and I got there. It took a long time, but it was a dream, you know what I mean? You got a dream, like you get that vision when you're, and then it comes true 10 years later. You saw it already, you know? And so I trust that it will happen. I don't know when, but I know it will. I've already seen what this will become. So it's just when. And it might be a little different, you know what I mean? There's some change, you know, because agreement and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this has been put on my heart for a little while now. And even now, just talking about the testimony, I'm seeing even more dots connecting. And so yeah, I don't even understand how awesome God's plan is, you know. But I know that I will blindly follow, and that's how I don't think, just worship. You know, just keep find Jesus, there you are, holy where Jesus, where holy Jesus, where are you, Jesus, holy yeah. That's how I feel when I'm like making stuff, when I'm on stage, when I'm connecting, when I'm having a good conversation, when things just flow. I'm like, Jesus, where are you, holy yeah
Amen.
All right, well, this has been a PPDK production. This has been From Work to Worship. I'm the one saying that in the video, but Nemo's, this has been my testimony. And I asked the Lord, well, I wanted to do a show that ended in the current moment, and that's what this is. It's every single show. And that's super duper awesome. Holy
Now the next one starts. Curious how that's gonna turn out.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, this has been From Work to Worship, and next up, we're going to be expanding beyond just the two of us and interviewing other people and finding out their testimony and how their calling intersects with their work. And it's been awesome. See you soon.
Next week on From Work to Worship, watch Nathanael Nemo come together to perform their testimony with the help of friends. Find out how we continue to fight and overcome on next week's episode of From Work to Worship. Pick up the call, take up your sword, and go on the adventure of a lifetime. This has been a PPDK Productions original. Follow us as we climb the tallest mountains, slay the fiercest dragons, and pursue the highest good while confronting the greatest evil we've ever known. Join us at ppdkproductions.com. Press play on your purpose.
Press play
On your purpose.